What do you think you are? We are not living in Medina. We are not living at the time of the Prophet. All kind of reasoning. The person himself knows this is not a valid reason. Just imagine when you tell someone that this thing is haram. Don't do it. And he says, we are not at the time of the Prophet. Doesn't this mu'min realize that Iman was not only for the time of Prophet? When someone says that this is not Medina, doesn't he realize that Islam needs to be practiced over here also? And it has to be practiced wherever we may be? He realizes too. But it's only أَخَذَتْهُ الْعِزَّةُ بِالْإِثْمِ. His arrogance is leading him towards sin. This person does not want to accept any advice. No naseehah from anyone. Don't talk to me. Don't advise me. Anytime you talk to me, just tell me how good I am. That's the only thing we are ready to hear from people, how good we are. And when it comes to that, we really like to hear admiration related to things. We know ourselves, we are not to that level. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Qur'an al-Kareem that there are people who like to be admired. لا تحسبن الذين يفرحون بما أتوا ويحبون أن يحمدوا بما لم يفعلوا. Those who like to be admired for things they have never done. People are admiring us, mashallah. This is the brother who, mashallah, this whole organization is running only through his fund. It's his funding that is running, and he will smile. He won't say no. This is the brother, mashallah, every night he's up for Salat al-Tahajjud. And he knows he never wakes up. He misses Salat al-Fajr too, but he will just smile. No, mashallah. Subhanallah. And if that person will say that, make dua for his hidayah, he misses Salat al-Fajr, right away you'll see his face. يُحِبُّونَ أَن يُحْمَدُوا بِمَا لَمْ يَفْعَلُوا. They like to be admired for things they have never done. فَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّهُمْ بِمَفَازَةٍ مِّنَ الْعَذَابِ. Don't think they can escape the punishment of Allah. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُ اتَّقِ اللَّهِ. When someone says to him, fear Allah, you missed the salah too, you're committing this haram. أَخَذَتْهُ الْعِزَّةُ بِالْإِثْمِ. Now the arrogance will lead him towards sin. He will be upset. I will never come to this masjid anymore. I will never talk to you anymore. Now I'm going to try to find faults in this person. If he mentions something about me, he tells people that I miss Salat al-Fajr, okay, let me see now what he would do and I would talk about that. This is the same thing. أَخَذَتْهُ الْعِزَّةُ بِالْإِثْمِ. His arrogance is leading him towards sin. Instead of correcting himself, he's trying to find faults in others now. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu says, one of the worst sin in Islam is that when a person someone says to another person, ittaqillah, fear Allah, reminds him of something wrong he may be doing, and he says to him, fear Allah, don't do this. And for that person to say to him that you should look at yourself. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud says, this is one of the worst sins in Islam. That when someone says to you, ittaqillah, you say to him, alayka bi nafsik. That you worry about yourself, don't talk to me, don't tell me, don't try to advise me. Which is a general habit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Qur'an, Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu ittaqillah. O Prophet, have the taqwa of Allah, fear Allah. Ittaqillah. If Allah can say to the Prophet, then why can't we take that word from people who would tell us, ittaqillah, fear Allah. But rather than that fear coming into our heart and our mind at that time when we are reminded, we start turning away from it. In fact, now the person would want to be even worse than what he is. He would like to increase his sins and his wrongdoings even more. The taqwa of Allah is too far. The reminder regarding the taqwa of Allah is making this person be even worse than what he is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed this problem in detail in Qur'an. When we look into the ayahs of the Qur'an al-Kareem, there are so many ayahs where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed this problem, where a person loses the ability of accepting the naseehah, accepting the advice. What is the reason for it? Many reasons behind it. As I said, really when you look at this problem, you can say it's majmu'at al-amrad. This is the combination of many diseases. Of course, the top of the list will be the root of all problems, the root of all diseases, al-amrad, and that is arrogance. That this person's arrogance is such that does not allow him to accept the naseehah from anyone. In reality, we should even accept the naseehah from our youngsters, but now our situation is even our elders cannot give us any naseehah. Our teachers cannot advise us. Our parents cannot advise us. Elders? No, there is no elder in the world. We are all orphans. There is no one older than me in the world. There is no one that knows better than me. That ability of accepting for our naseehah is gone. And if we look at the teachings of Sharia, the way Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam raised Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'een, they were looking for naseehah. They were looking for advice. They would go to each other, give me some advice regarding this. A sahabi would go to another sahabi, talk to me about this topic. Tell me something about this. I feel that I'm going low regarding these things. So can you just give me some words of naseehah related to this topic? This is how Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was raising the Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in. So this disease is because of many, it's a combination of a lot of diseases. One of them is arrogance. The other is anger. The person gets angry. Anytime he sees something, he hears something against himself, he gets angry. That ability of hearing things against himself is not there. Read about Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi rahmatullahi alayhi, that there was a person who used to write a lot against him. And his student, Maulana Yahya rahmatullahi alayhi, the father of Shaykh al-Hadith, Maulana Zakaria rahmatullahi alayhi, after some time when he saw that this person, whenever he writes something, he's just writing against his Shaykh, and it's only curses and useless things. Accusation, false accusation and curses. So then, whenever a letter would come from that person, he would not give it to him. He would just put it away. So once Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi rahmatullahi alayhi asked Maulana Yahya rahmatullahi alayhi, he said to him that for a long time, we didn't receive any letter from that person. What happened? Did he forget about us? So he said, no, Shaykh. It's not that. It's only that it's all curses and accusations. So therefore I don't bring them to you. I just put them aside. He says, no, don't do that. He says, when you receive anything from him, read it to me. Because that's fine if there are curses and those type of things, but there may be something correct in it also where we need some correction. Because these type of people, they look at our mistakes. So there may be something that needs correction and we can correct ourselves. Subhanallah. He's looking at those things from a person who hates him. In fact, that person went so low that he would call a scholar like him, he would consider him a kafir, wal-iyazu billah. This is how low that person went. And still, he would like to read whatever that person writes about him, because there may be something that is correct and I can correct myself. Some of my true mistakes where I need corrections and I will be correcting myself, because all the other people, they are just calling me Hazrat, Shaykh and this and this. So I need someone who can tell me, who would tell me my mistakes too. This is the ability of taking the naseehah, of accepting the naseehah, of looking forward for someone to give us some naseehah and for someone to give us a word of advice that will help us. Many times, this feeling comes within ourselves that I really don't need it. I don't need any advice at this time. I'm not at a point where I would listen to the advice or I really need the advice. This is one of the worst diseases that we may have.